Penalty.avi. I'm Day. Hello, my relatives. It's a good day, and spring continues. Today, I'd like to talk to you about prisons and the death penalty. Let's talk about the death penalty. It's human sacrifice. You know, I have tried to get those anti-death penalty people to start using it. That's a horrible thought, that America is one of the few countries in the world, especially in the Western world, and especially excluding China and India, the death penalty is unknown in the rest of Americas and in Europe. It's human sacrifice because it involves religion, ritual, and it is to appease the God of vengeance, or to put it in the modern vernacular, to give, what is the word they use? Comfort, at any rate. Solace to the bereaved. And they will tell you it doesn't work. They've said it in documentary after documentary, in news interviews after news interviews. They do not get peace of mind by the state murdering someone. And the state represents you and me. All of us. You can say, no, it doesn't. It's still murdering. You're still paying taxes. You take another. Thou shalt not kill. What part of kill do you Christians not understand? What part of that four-letter word do you not understand? Thou shalt not kill. It's not okay to organize a mob to do your killing. And that's what you do. You vote for people who will murder and offer human sacrifice up to the God of revenge. You know? The God of revenge. And I don't care what you say, civilized people do not murder someone who has murdered someone. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Is that something? An eye for an eye? You know, let's look at the Aztecs who are accused, and now those racist archaeologists, that, you know, they're a grave robbing society. They rob graves. And they study people, and the rule of studying people, them and the anthros and the hissies, the anthropologists and the historians, the archaeologists, here they are studying people, but they refuse to go to the people they're studying because it might color, which is an interesting word, their objectivity. So they don't have anthropologists, historians. So they study my people, rob our graves, and tell you and the learned how we thought, how we prayed, how we ate, how we did everything, even where we went to the bathroom. And what we thought, that's what kills me, man. Why does the white man insist on trying to be God? I don't get it. Well, I get it, because patriarchy, and we all know about patriarchy and the pyramid. At any rate, he's got to justify himself. his loneliness and his fear. So he's got to put the fear in everyone else. But the Aztecs, let's debunk that once and for all. And this comes from a Spaniard, Pedro Serran of Malaga in Spain. Anyway, what he stated was, 1492. Now, historians know this, The Inquisition happened, and so what the Catholics did, the Spaniard Catholics, is they kicked out the Moors, Arabs, who were the artists and the engineers for all their beautiful buildings and everything else, and their aqueducts and what have you. Then they kicked out the Jews, who were their financiers, their accountants, their merchants. In other words, all the learned people they kicked out of Spain in the name of God. Well, that left them with the Spaniards. Now, at that time, 1492, most of the Spaniards were unlettered, in other words, uneducated. In other words, they hadn't gone to school, couldn't read or write, and they were used as cannon fodder. They were in the army. They were the conquistadores. Or in English, conquistadors. I guess that's how you say it in English. Anyway, that's who came over to what is now Mexico. In that first instance, after they conquered by subterfuge and just out blatant attack literally defenseless people, the Aztecs, which were not an empire, and we can go into that someday if you want to. I've had these debates with these damn anthros anarchies before, and in their colleges, the latest being University of Kansas, Lawrence. At any rate, here we have the Aztecs. They get there and they're watching the observance here. Now I'm going to tell you what, and there are enough cultural anthropologists who now are beginning to see the light and can verify this. But there is, and I've seen it. I've never tasted it, but I've seen the liquid that comes out of this plant. That's in Central and South America. And this plant slows down the heartbeat to the point where you can have surgery. Get it? Open heart surgery. So when these unlettered Spaniards, and I'm being nice, when these unlettered Spaniards saw these savages cut into the body of a person who is comatose, they thought, and take out the heart, they thought, oh my God, they're having human sacrifice because they're doing it up on the pyramids. Let me tell you something. The higher you go, all spiritual people know this, the higher you go on earth, the more ions there are. And spiritual people have just inherently known this for ages. That's why monasteries are in the mountains, and churches are in the mountains, and that's why we fast in the mountains and cry for a vision. But they would, now where the pyramids are built, that's about 7,000 feet, and you add another 800 feet, and you've got the pyramids in rarefied air, cleaner air. So it's the safest place to operate. Open heart surgery. Now we already know the Incas practiced brain surgery. Now all this was going around, of course, was going on when most of the invaders couldn't read or write. The invaders of America. Either that or they were prostitutes and petty thieves and ex-convicts who wouldn't bathe. You know, it was against Christian law in the 15th, 16th, and 17th centuries. It was against the Christian law to bathe. So that debunks the myth of that kind of human sacrifice. But you've got it in America. There are most of the civilized countries in the world who do not have the death penalty, will not extradite anyone to America if they're facing the death penalty. You know, if a criminal runs to Canada or Mexico, a murderer, I mean, they will not, or one accused of murder, like Leonard Peltier. The FBI had to fabricate evidence and lie to the Canadian government. And the Canadians roundly condemned the United States. Didn't do Leonard Peltier any good. He's still in prison, about to die, a very sick man. He should be released. Because the United States government, run by corporate socialists, want revenge for the death of 2 FBI agents, and we Indians, we killed them because of self-defense. Hello? 2 Indians already, who were allegedly accomplices of Leonard Peltier, were exonerated by a jury of their peers, which weren't their peers, but they still got, there's a jury of white people in Iowa. And then what else you got going here with the military industrial prison intelligence complex? Do you know that one of these states, on all these governors, and how come no one brings this up, man? Loud and clear, I mean. I'm not bringing it up in private conversation, but we're not seeing it, we're not hearing it. But these governors are wanting to take away money from the middle class and destroy the unions, people power. That's what they want to do. At the same time they're taking money out of education, they're putting more money into prisons and jails. Hello? Why isn't that brought up? Why isn't that? You demand, I don't see any signs out there. Money for prisons, but none for the education of our children, of your children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. The dumbing down of America because they need cannon fodder for all their wars. Look at Obama, a blatant liar. And now we got 3 wars going. And don't give me this NATO crap, because the NATO crap is also in Afghanistan. That's supposedly a NATO operation. And so is, you know, yeah. You're crazy, man. This country's crazy, insane. A maniacal killer on the loose on the world and on its own people. Feeding. Gorging itself on you. Oh. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. And to think we gave you the Constitution and you don't appreciate the Constitution. Well, my friends, my relatives, and all the sacred colors out there, I know some of you have a heart. I know some of you have a brain. I still love y'all. Ambatuashte, Doksha Ake.